$100 bill. They're like, oh, the U.S. government owns this. No. A bank owns this, and that bank is owned by anonymous investors. It's not really anonymous. We all know who actually created it. The wealthiest people on earth came together, created the Federal Reserve, and also, funnily enough, created the IRS at the same time. So most people don't know, before the Federal Reserve, it was considered unconstitutional to tax people. So that's why...
Well, they needed a reason for people to use the money, so then they had to create the taxes.
People make money, and then the government taxes your income. If the government has $1 million, they can only spend $1 million, you would think. But that's not how it works. So the government has $1 million, and what's happening now is they're going to spend significantly more than $1 million. Now, if you have a certain amount of income and you spend more than that, what do? Well, you're going to have to subsidize or find that extra cash somewhere. So what do? They call up their friends at the Federal Reserve Bank and they say, hey, we need a $2 trillion loan. And then the Fed's going to say, okay, we got you. So what do? They go to the money printer, boop, 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 and now they can print out $2 trillion. They loan this cash to the government, and now the government got the $2 trillion. The Federal Reserve printed it out of nothing. This is what inflation...
The thing that scares me about the nuclear threat from Vladimir Putin is that I feel like he can't lose this war. And the American position is that he must lose. He must completely lose the war and retreat and give Ukraine all back to Ukraine. And it's like, however you feel about that, that's just not going to happen. That's not going to happen. He's not handing the whole thing back over. And you may think that's wrong, and I kind of think it's wrong too. I don't know. I think maybe he should keep Donbass. I don't really know. But it's like, it's not going to happen. And Joe Biden is acting like he must win this war. But that's not really true. Like, we don't really need it. But Vladimir Putin does need it. He can't lose a war right on his border. Like, that's a different type of thing to give up. And so now he's saying that if the territory of Russia is infringed on, he will use nuclear weapons. And he said straight up, this is not a bluff. He goes, this is not a bluff. I will use nukes. He's just said this the other day.
You can intercept a nuclear weapon is after it launches. That's the only time you can intercept it, because the missile moves fast, but slow enough to intercept it from its location into the atmosphere. Once it's in the atmosphere, it releases something called a multiple reentry vehicle. It's almost like, if you can imagine a pistol, like a 6-shooter. If you were to take the 6-shooter and put it up in space, it's going to have 6 warheads, independently targeted warheads, and they just drop at 6 different targets.
Well, what Israel's got going on over there, could that stop any of that?
It could try.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was... Look again. Freeze it.
This isn't the Matrix.
No. It's another training program designed to teach you one thing. If you are not one of us, you are one of them.
Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на